On the 10th of March, 101 Tibetans and their supporters started the march to Tibet from Dharamsala, India. This March 10th marked the 49th anniversary of the Tibetan People's Uprising movement, which began in 1959 in Lhasa. On 11th of March, the Tibetans living in India started to get news from inside Tibet. We heard that on the day of March 10th, the monks of Dripung Monastery, located outside of Lhasa, had peacefully protested for freedom of religion, independence, and for the return of the Dalai Lama. This news was later confirmed by the BBC. In the afternoon, we heard the monks of Sara and Ganden had also peacefully protested, and that the monks from the three monasteries located outside of Lhasa were now under house arrest. Here in India, we continue to receive news from inside Tibet that the monks from Ramsha Monastery, located in the heart of Tibetan area of Lhasa, had staged a peaceful protest and Chinese police had attacked those monks. We heard the lay Tibetans were now seeing the monks from Ramsha being attacked. Not being able to stand their monks being attacked, they attacked the police, who retreated. The protest grew large, with lay people joining the monks. We began getting calls from Tibetans inside telling us that they had seen the riot police closing in on the protesters and opening fire into the crowd. For a few days, we kept getting news of dead bodies of Tibetans from eyewitnesses who called us in India to report what they were seeing. Some were on the phone with us while the Tibetans were being murdered by Chinese police right in front of them. We heard news of protests spreading to Amdo, Shanghai, and Kham, Sichuan. While this was taking place inside Tibet, Tibetans living here in Dharamsala, India were in a constant state of panic. Dharamsala is the home of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Tibetan government in exile. Most of the Tibetan population here are newcomers from Tibet. They all have family inside Tibet, and they were worried because they were getting frightened calls from family reporting deaths of a family member or a friend. Some people could not call home for fear that it would endanger their family members to be receiving calls from India. Many could only read and listen to the news, hearing the death toll go up in Tibet and not knowing if their family members were alive or dead. The Tibetan community in Dharamsala felt helpless in not being able to help their loved ones inside Tibet and did the only thing they could do, protest. Tibetans here and all over the world are screaming for freedom while feeling powerless at the same time, not being able to do anything about the situation inside. Since March 10th, every night in Dharamsala there is a candlelight vigil where hundreds of people walk through the streets chanting. There is also an ongoing hunger strike going on at the Dalai Lama's temple. All of the walls in the town of Dharamsala have pictures of dead bodies from Tibet. The pictures are to inform the people of what is happening inside Tibet right now. We decided to interview Tibetans living in Dharamsala, some of who came from Tibet, to ask their opinions of what happened, why they think Tibetans inside Tibet rose up despite danger to their lives.
Well, many a times I feel there is a karmic connection between me and what's happening in Tibet, because I think I was one of the first few Tibetans in exile to know of it. It was on the 11th of March when two monks from the south India, they had the first-hand information. They came up to TWA because they had the information in Tibetan and they wanted me to translate into English. And then I thought maybe it's just another run-of-the-mill protest, you know, where everything is now subdued and hid under the carpet. And I did the translation. That was on the 11th of March. It was an account of what happened on the 10th of March. And I think on the 14th, we were getting a lot of calls saying this is happening, that's happening. And you know, we didn't take it that serious because, I mean, this was something that was unexpected, uncalled for, you know. I don't think any of us thought in our sweetest dreams that this would happen. And since we didn't have internet at the office, I was asked to go down and check in the Green Cafe because we were planning to screen an entertaining film, which will have to be called off just in case what is happening in Tibet is very true. I went down and sat for an hour. I was just glued into, you know, the events in Tibet making headlines, you know, getting splashed across the world. And it was sad, and I think my initial response was I was really glad this was happening because this is what should be happening, you know. I don't think it's late also right now. So that way I personally feel connected to that. But the way, you know, the Chinese handle the situation, how they made you know, make the whole peaceful thing very violent with their brutal crackdown is really sad. And I think that is something that needs to still come out of Tibet. We all know what happened, Tibetans demonstrating, but now what all of us should be focusing is, you know, what's with the Tibetans up there, you know, what you know, where their fate is being dragged into. So that becomes an international concern, and of course for the Tibetans as well.